What's a menka memoache?
But I'll be soon, Campa, Michiawati Fuginas.
Na empom at the same anopay.
Onyamiadaro, Mammy,
Emo
Africia will be almost here.
A radia dumo, yenso yahoya pa, Yemo Africia panso.
I feel come at you. I feel any I didn't know your friends, Oman Penida, that job, Dramani Mahaman, na what part of Man's side. I'm out on Abuagan.
Jo, yenya tefo da se branya da je wenya ma yense yemo enkomo anopaye ye hye ennei ye social media kwan ye nam so wonom waye IT pani NDC amanyoko mu de sa wodi wani ade akire kakra na bebo bakom ye no so a election 2024 social media robe na wo hu se ebe play ewo mo.
Well, first of all, my main correct Kakra, I'm a former director of IT,
okay.
Not the current one.
Okay, madam, say former director.
Now, social media, they say, you know, election is all about informing people of your policies and programs. And your ma ufi sa uri be bua kwemu ama ebe bua one more impunto ya brabum ensem ni ade. And ututum say traditional media no krano. It doesn't inform as well as the social media now. A lot of people spend a lot of hours on their phone. They make me cry, say, people, ecotonasi, say, one more A to B restaurant. So, now they are in meetings with other people in very far places because they are engaged on their phones. And, social media will play a very critical role. And if you take the teledensity of Ghana, Ghana has one of the highest teledensities in the world. Now cell phone. Cell phone it is one of the highest. It is even higher than a lot of the developed countries. And I think that social media will be critical going into the election in a sense that it will inform. It will provide the platform and for it to be engaged in the traditional and Nkawkaw rally now to train them near the Adeno and also for TV and so watching them. Social media will step into the shoes of those platforms, and to do that very well.
Okay, and say hepa na wasi ade ye ne kire say ye pe abato bekoso asumdwe emu a na ye examine social media ne role a wo kan say be critical e wo mu no a na wasi ade ne kire pa e be bo ama ya sumdwe be tokoso atenam
say ade bia so won enso the social media utini e de ensempa e fam no abone for so bit in some money so the Arab Spring here. It was basically social media mobilization. So, a lot of the countries that have been dictated, and have restricted the use of traditional media and determine what traditional media will say. One movie, social media, I didn't know Russian media, you have scripts that you are supposed to read, traditional media. But social media has made it possible to inform Russians on a lot of things. As they say, I can tell you that the Russian-Ukraine war is not very popular in Russia at the moment. It tells you that it does good things and it does bad things. A lot of mobilization can happen through social media. And it's not just restricted to one person. One so no everything for social media idea M1
oh okay and yenyina e de na yenhwe nim se ebetimi abo man na yehu social media yenyintum and na de nso na yehu social media yenyintum.
But first of all, traditional media you have a big role to play in a sense that there is some form of regulation within the traditional media. You have an executive, there's a structure. You have a structure that can confirm a story before you put it out there. You agree with me, sir? A lot of the traditional area, who be doing social media, mama, so, hey, I remember there was an issue which came recently. It was a drill. In the military, if you say a driller, That's a year rehearsals are here. Will be price of exit Napo, a friend, a crown prince. What will be the reaction? A video came out of the jail. A lot of the social media, propagating as if it was actually the crown prince people trying to kidnap him. Traditional media, and almost at the point. So, and the burden of the education is on traditional media to ensure that people will be looking up to traditional media. Are they aware of the and the crowd be the second web, and I say why I go a more website before I not most of my tra. That was to me a question. What trade you no correct? Let me say. Because the social media space is more or less not very much controlled and regulated. I have heard various governments trying to say they will regulate this and what have you, but it's very difficult to do that. I mean, you can pass legislation, but the enforcement of the legislation is what really makes gives the control to the channel. And besides that, me and Kasana about 2024, we have a lot of issues that we are grappling with. So I'm not sure if you have paid attention to the electoral commission.
But who do you indelible ink? I was a year free way.
Indelible ink near one major thing. I hear about also in Yanis, the CI know the Akwato Parliament. The CI is removing two things that are critical. One, it is removing the date of birth. Now, a requirement. The electoral commission, my political parties. The CIA is seeking to remove it. That's number one. Number two, it is removing the address. Think address now. Say I will be able to register. I'm trying to address there. Behind the mosque, a friend Alaji Bamba. Opposite Alaji Bamba house, there's a place to fall like that. And that gives us the opportunity to find out when Bakrono or free Ablikuma and also register or Chebia. So it gives us that opportunity. Now the date of birth requirements now, it helps us to check underage registration. In a sense, what will be a date of birth? It's the key to every database. It's when you run it against the student database, we are able to tell us at Robert say, oh, school, no, trust over this 16, and the Wabbage answer over the 18, and yet we pump any pump. And the latest one here, indelible ink, I don't know what the indelible ink is, what injury the indelible ink is causing into all the history. That's what I'm not on some point. They are sending so on. Every now you will say, oh, baby, so yeah. Or transfer call now or register baby. You are sending from that. They say now, what is the indelible in the service that go for you and answer the engine also here. And I say it has such a huge cost because the cost component of indelible ink is only 1% of our electoral process, but it brings a lot of peace. And the thing said, these things will give people cause to use the social media to misbehave, and we don't want that. So, and I think that these things are giving you three things. The removal of the address from the CI, which are stored in Parliament, by the way. The removal of a date of birth, which is critical in finding underage registrants. And the third one, indelible ink. I think if it will be you want a member of videos, I can say please cancel the one more 10 and 17. They are paying and I quote what they say about the year you saw in the church. This is the time they need to be on the electoral commission to ensure that he's doing the things that about my move because you're MYA.
Okay. Now, Adaroma, Sanya work at 3 key components. Waboboso, date of birth. Also, we have and can we be na easy send a say yes no voter ID card link Ghana card. Na send ni na akwesi wa no so no date of birth Well,
the linkage of the Ghana card and the voter ID card, no. The mandate. That's a different conversation, but I think that since you have brought it up, you will have that discussion.
Okay.
The EC is saying that the Ghana card has to be the sole document for registration to vote. the LI 2111, which was the committee, I was the chief technical person on the committee that wrote LI 2111. That is what you are quoting. If you look at LI 2111, look at clause 7. The title is mandatory use of the national identification card. And when you go to J, paragraph J, it says to register and vote. But if you look at the preamble before you go to paragraph J, I'll say a Ghana card issued to the individual shall be used, shall make it compulsory. But it says that issued to the individual, which means you need to first of all issue it to that individual before you can mandate the use for registration to as a sole document. Just here, I know what I say. A friend say, NIA what statistics. Obviously, they have a registrable population as at 2018 of 20 million people to register. One man, Rebecca said they issue cards to a tune of almost about 16 point something. There's about 3 point something million people. No? One man said a woman to me issue a card. And if they said so, instant issuance, it means that it is no fault of a person to go and register and not have been issued with a card because their system was supposed to give them a card instantly. And that 3 million people, won't for a card in my own. The only invoke that clause, which says issued to him. If it hasn't been issued to him, how do you mandate the card as a sole registration? You cannot do that. That's number one. Number two, even if everybody has Ghana card, you still need to have on a mass registration exercise what we call the exemption clause. The exemption clause is that, yes, in case there is somebody who does not have it, how does the person go about to register? The person can go to maybe our Guinea or Okromo, and answer assemblyman or Okromo, not I say, but the other man say, they are Ghana. And I told you do that through Commissioner of Votes. And the EC says that because NIA does that before through Commissioner of Votes, they can rely on what NIA has done. Nothing stops them from also doing it through Commissioner of Votes. They make out here. Because if you rely on only the NIA card, and that has a guarantee system. How do you say I have to abolish my guarantee system? You can't do that. You understand? And don't forget, NIA only exists at the district capital. If you take Bolly and Boy constituency, for example, I can't offer Boy Bolly 50. Oh, that's what 50 years. NIA is more about them prince and son of the card amount. Now, Pama Bear, or no, Pama no work Boy no. Or no, for 500 years or he or say, or the Apogenian NIA card. Now we have a sign of control the digital for Twaba. Sandy Pano, not is the Constitution. The Constitution says in Article 45 that every Ghanaian who is of age 18 and above, who is of sound mind, has a right to vote. Let's say you are adding another clause to the Constitution. That person must have money to go and take his NIA card, and at the same time, that person must have the time to go in and out of his district capital before he can register to vote. And I think that is unconstitutional, and I expect that the Supreme Court at the appropriate time, if they would do, we all have issues.
Okay.
But if they would do what is right, I think that they should be able to judge that it is unconstitutional.
As a former IT director, NDC Fmr, last elections, social media, say a play a role be a woman.
Of course, it played a lot of role. We use social media to our advantage in a sense. We had a lot of mobilization that went on through social media, so on. But a lot of vices also came through social media. You are aware, sir, friends, during the latter part of the counting of the elections, a lot of your friends, especially you also, after social media put it out there, NDC was winning majority, According to the EC officials on the ground, they got instructions to hold on to the declaration of results. And it affected you also. It affected Tekima North also. Maybe I'm all those people in that process. And it was because, social media, people were quick to put some of these results out there in the social media. Some also did it through the traditional media. And to the information as it went somewhere that it was not supposed to go to, and people saw that they were not performing well, they reacted in a way that also created problems.
Yo, Penny, I
don't know the context because I haven't joined your conversation, the context with which you were discussing social media, but these are some of the things that I think will be educational and very informative to your listeners.
Okay. Say social media what aspects should be examined regarding the upcoming 2024 general election, ensuring peace before, during, and after 2024 election.
I've said a bit, but it is also important to emphasize that, first of all, we need fairness in our electoral process. We need fairness in our electoral process. I'm sure you are aware, sir, we have not been at IPAC. I was the one going to IPAC on behalf of the NDC. And it's even insulting and demeaning to Ghanaians. Say, our partners are taking their money to hold. And can you imagine? Now, the most important field on the pink sheet is where you record people who have gone through the verification system. That was missing on the pink sheet. Everybody, including the EC commissioners, agreed that there is a pink sheet look at the quality Ghana. Lo and behold, on election day, that's what they used. And I'm going to stamp women before say, one stamp for one throw. We know end to all. And it's a big problem because they didn't stamp crown or match. They played the ignorance and said they didn't know they needed to stamp it. They make out here. And all these things have happened. That is why we said that we demand some serious reform at IPAC. And if possible, let us pass legislation that would mandate the EC to run things by IPAC. Because IPAC is an advisory. But if you look at the history of IPAC, IPAC was instituted by Azerbaijan. IPAC is the one that got in transparent boxes. IPAC is the one that got in biometric systems. All the reforms that we have had, photo ID was initiated by IPAC. So IPAC has played a critical role in our electoral process, except the time of the mentor. So I think that one a friend of the committee of eminent Ghanaians, which I disagreed personally because you don't bring them to come and do your dirty work. Because these are the people that when you do your dirty work, no problem, you go and rely on them to come and solve. So you are bringing them into the process. Those people, they shouldn't be quiet. The peace council, those who have been vocal during the game time, those who are very vocal, we expect them to be equally vocal. Because for the end of it now, 2024, will be the two and also be a giant, no, be a we expect those people to be vocal now.
Okay.
Let them point out the indelible ink. Let's ask the question. The indelible ink, what is the injury to indelible ink to the electoral process? Why, if it doesn't, it is not injurious to anything. Why are you removing it? You see, these are the things, the questions that they need to be asking now.
Griffiths, better say, Brother Jawenya, I'm your bon command. And see, Emo Nkawkaw and Yabo Ama Wonom, Ross, Kwame Griffiths, say, Nkane,